Hello, class, and welcome to this lecture on the pros and cons of AI and how to recognize AI-generated mistakes in writing. This lesson is all about how to look at AI without rose-colored glasses. In this example, little image here, I have my Bitmoji character wearing gold star glasses, and I think that really represents a lot of the hype around AI right now. AI is a very popular topic among educators, among people who are really into tech. If you have internet access or radio access, you're probably hearing a lot about AI right now. So we're going to talk about AI and writing and research. So let's take a look at this image. This image was generated by AI. And how I did it is I created this image with Microsoft's AI image generator. It's known as Image Creator, and you can find it in Bing. This image was generated by asking for an image of artificial intelligence research. So I want you to take a look and think about this. What do you think a human artist might have done differently when making this image, and what mistakes did the AI make? Think about that for a second. All right, so what we're going to learn by the end of this lesson, I want you to be in this situation where you can say, I will be able to describe the pros and cons of AI tools in writing and research. And the reason I want you to learn this is because this is where the future of writing is going. And no matter what field you're in, the people around you who are going to take advantage of tools to make themselves better writers are going to be competing with you and your writing. So it's only fair that everybody knows about all of the tools available to them and how to use them responsibly and ethically. So let's take a look at these mistakes. The mistakes the AI made in this image can be used as examples of the cons of using AI in your writing. So take a look at the computer monitor. The computer monitor is displaying information on the back side instead of the screen. Many characters are using the same or similar outfits. There are two of the exact same plant on the table. And if you look closely, there are two keyboards and one monitor, so the ratio of hardware is wrong in this image. I'm sure a lot of you were looking at hands and trying to see if you could find fingers that were not created in a way that looks right. I hear that one a lot. AI can't paint fingers. I can't do fingers either in my art. It's not very good. All right, so the mistakes that AI made are great examples of some key downsides of using AI as a tool, especially in writing your research papers. So, big con number one, lack of contextual understanding. AI doesn't know anything, it just gives back similar information to what it has seen before. So, it does not know that a computer monitor should only have a screen on one side. As you can see here, the side facing the people using the monitor is the side that should show information. The AI does not have any context of the situation, so it won't know that it is more keyboards than monitors. It doesn't know how computers work, so how could it? Okay, big con number two, bias. AI is only as good as the information it was trained on. If you give AI bad data, it will give you bad analysis, bad summaries, bad numbers, and poorly made images. In fact, artificial intelligence often hallucinates due to bias, creating false outputs because of biases it learned from the biased data it received while being trained. What biases do you think this AI model has about people who work with computers and do research? Think about that for a moment. What about this group of people tells you some biases that the AI model might exhibit? I noticed that a lot of these people are young and fit. I notice that they seem to be wearing middle class Western clothing. Nobody is wearing any traditional or indigenous or clothing associated with Eastern fashion. I notice that they're all wearing very neutral outfits with no gimmicky displays. There's no funny t-shirts on anybody. 4 of them are wearing glasses, so maybe there's some bias against people who work with AI. Maybe the AI model believes that people who work with computers have poor eyesight. I shouldn't even say believes because, again, AI doesn't have any thoughts. It just has predictions. It doesn't have context. It just has, this is the most likely thing that is going to happen next based on all of the information I've seen in the past. It's really not as smart as people give it credit for. I hope that makes sense. If not, you can just email me or we can take it to the discussion boards, whatever you guys want to do. We should have a poll about that and see if anyone wants to have a conversation about this as a discussion board. All right. Next big con, number 3, lack of human creativity. AI models tend to create clunky, repetitive pictures and writing samples. Unfortunately, the models lack the creativity of a human writer. They repeat stereotypes and cliches, and they can even plagiarize by copy-pasting from websites they find online. Look at the 2 identical plants on the table. Do you think a human artist would ever create an image like that without clear intent to use symmetry for aesthetic reasons? Was this an artistic choice or was the AI model just being goofy? What do you think? I think this is goofiness. I don't like it. It's not symmetrical. It's not fun. It doesn't add anything to the image. It just looks silly. Also, what is this strange square object? Is that a coaster for like a mug? There's no mugs on this desk. That's a whole new error that the AI made that I just noticed now. I'm sure the longer we look at this image, the more things we'll notice are wrong with it. Okay, so how can AI help me research and write? What are the pros? Big pro number 1. How long would it take you to paint this image with oil and paintbrushes? An AI model created it in less than 2 minutes. AI tools like Grammarly, a grammar checking program, can speed up the writing process by highlighting common errors in large writing samples. If you have a 10-page essay due, but the library writing lab is closed and you don't have a second pair of eyes to scan your paper, AI may speed up your proofreading process. Next, let's talk about big pro number 2. AI can help you find other resources. How many times have you asked someone how they know something and they simply say, Google? Google's new Gemini AI is able to summarize information from multiple sources and cite those sources so you can fact check the summaries and dive deeper into the information faster. We used to have to find books or articles on topics, then find their citations, and then go find those sources. AI tools are able to search whole databases quickly to help you find the information you need. Other AI-powered tools that might help you find resources are ChatPDF, Perplexity, Elicit, and Consensus. Big pro number 3. AI can teach you the basics. I can't tell you how many times I've been reading a high-level text and come across unfamiliar concepts, words I don't know, ideas that I've never heard before. The paper will reference another paper that I haven't read and I don't have access to because it's behind a paywall. I would have to stop everything to seek out information on the concept and read other similarly difficult texts before I could understand the paper I was originally assigned. So now, with AI, you can ask for big concepts to be broken down into simple language so you don't have to wade through academic jargon when looking to learn a concept you don't know. Once you have a basic understanding, you can continue with your actual reading assignment with the confidence that you know what the text is referring to. So what do the mistakes look like? 4 of them that I see a lot when I work with AI writing is the AI writes in ways that are too vague, too repetitive, inconsistent, and they make a lot of errors, both factual and contextual errors. So let's take a look at this writing sample from an AI called Mixtral, all right? You are a cute, innocent seal napping on the beach. The warm sun kisses your fur as you snooze peacefully, the sound of crashing waves lulling you into a relaxed state. A light breeze rustles your whiskers, and you can taste the salt water in the air. The sand is comfortable beneath you, and you feel completely at ease. Do you see anything that tips you off that a human did not write this? Let's take a look. Napping, snooze, peacefully relaxed state, completely at ease. That is a lot of repetition. Instead of expanding, it just spits out related sentences. And look at this logical error. Napping and you can taste the salt water in the air. You probably are not going to be tasting the air while you're napping because you're unconscious. You're probably not tasting much of anything unless maybe you're dreaming about tasting the salt water in the air. But still, that's a stretch. This is an example of how AI doesn't have the context of what sleeping is like as an experience. So it just guesses and pumps out what it thinks should come next based on patterns that it recognizes in the data that it was trained on. Let's look at this next sample from Mixtral. The crab notices your interest and scuttles over to the piano, climbing up onto one of the keys. It seems to be playing a little melody, and the seagulls join in with their squawks and caws. You're a curious and adventurous seal, so you decide to give it a try. Carefully, you make your way over to the piano and place your flippers on the keys. The instrument is surprisingly well tuned, and you manage to play a few notes. The seagulls and the crabs seem delighted by your performance, squawking and waving their claws along with the rhythm. Can you spot the AI mistakes here? Something I noticed was squawks and caws and squawking. I am sure that there's not a lot of words to describe seagull noises, but I think a human writer could have grabbed a thesaurus and been a little bit more creative with that. I also noticed that it contradicts itself, so let's take a look at the contradiction. Carefully making its way over to the piano, the seal, and adventurous seal. Are adventurous seals going to do anything carefully? Or is it going to be a silly, goofy seal that's going to haphazardly or joyfully make its way over the piano? These two words have very different meanings, but they're referring to the same seal. That's a contextual error. It's contradicting itself. And then it wrote something unclear in that last sentence. It said, the seagulls and the crabs seem delighted by your performance, squawking and waving their claws along with the rhythm. So seagulls and crabs have different sets of skills. A seagull squawks and a crab has claws that it might be able to wave, but the AI just lumped them together and said that they were all squawking and waving their claws. It left out the implicit all, but you might not be able to understand who's doing the squawking and who's doing the waving of their claws. Is it all of them? They use this pronoun there to lump together seagulls and crab. and that just makes the sentence unclear. That's a mistake that AI will do quite often. So you have to make sure that you look out for that in AI writing. Something that I've had in experiences with Mixtral and other AI language models is they often get confused about pronouns. Pronouns are really hard for AI to understand. They lose track of who the subject of the sentence is, and they'll just switch from one pronoun to another. So you can really easily confuse AI just by using a different pronoun than it was expecting. And I have no idea what it expects because sometimes it really just seems to pull random stuff out of nowhere. I've seen writing from AI where it'll just change the names of the characters around, and then for the rest of the story that it writes, those characters' traits and everything are just swapped, and it never fixes itself. Even if you go back into the story and tell the AI to fix it, it just ignores you sometimes on some models. But there's a lot of models, and some models are good at certain things, and some models are not so much. So now it's your turn. I want you to talk to Gemini. So to get to Gemini, you can just Google or Bing search or whatever, internet search engine you like to use. Google Gemini and it'll probably be one of the first things that you find. And I want you to do these 4 things with Google Gemini. I want you to get Gemini to guess your birthday without telling the month or the date. I want you to get Gemini to tell you a fun fact about English composition. I want you to get Gemini to recommend a song to you based on your preferences in music. And then I want you to get Gemini to refuse to do something for you. And I would love to have a discussion about this afterward. I think that I'm going to probably make a participation assignment where we're going to discuss some of the funny things that happen in our conversations with Gemini. We'll make sure that it's professional and school appropriate, but I want to know, what will Gemini refuse to do for you? Can Gemini guess your birthday? How creative can you get in producing prompts that will get the AI to do what you want it to do for you? I hope that all makes sense. And if you have any more questions about AI, shoot me a message. Or if you learn anything interesting about AI, shoot me a message. I want to learn more about this. I hope that you are inspired to learn more about it. And I really hope that you take time to explore the tools that we talked about earlier in this presentation, especially Grammarly. I have been using Grammarly for years and only recently have people started talking about it as AI and how beneficial it is. It saved me a lot of time when I was an undergraduate student. So definitely check out tools like Grammarly and the other ones that were mentioned in this presentation. Thanks for watching this presentation. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope to hear from all of you soon.